From the encounter of the Anthem of the Seas battling monstrous waves in 2016 to the Wahoo nuclear bomb test of 1958 beneath the Pacific waves, these are the top 14 tsunami disasters caught on camera. 1. Volcanic eruption in Japan. Imagine seeing a wall of water rising from the horizon, towering over everything in its way. This is what a tsunami looks like, a massive wave caused by an underwater earthquake or volcanic eruption. But how massive? Well, in 2011, a tsunami hit Japan with a height of 32 feet. That's about as tall as a 3-story building. Why does an earthquake cause a tsunami? It's because the Earth's crust is made of huge plates that move and collide with each other. Sometimes these plates get stuck and build up pressure. When they finally slip, they release a lot of energy that shakes the ground and displaces the water above it. This creates a series of waves that travel across the ocean at high speed. It took only 15 minutes for the first wave to hit the coast of Japan, where many people were caught off guard and unable to escape. The tsunami destroyed everything in its path, from houses and cars to boats and bridges. It even breached a 16-foot dam wall in the town of Kamaishi. The damage was enormous, costing up to $300 billion and affecting more than 23,000 people who either died, went missing, or got injured. 2. The typhoon in China. What would you do if you were on a ship in the middle of a storm? And would you be able to survive the raging waves and winds? This is what happened to a bulk carrier in China when it faced a deadly typhoon in October 2021. A typhoon is a tropical storm that forms over the Pacific Ocean near Asia. It is similar to a hurricane, but it has a different name depending on where it occurs. A typhoon can have very strong winds, up to 63 miles per hour or more, that can damage buildings, trees, and power lines. It can also cause heavy rain, flooding, and landslides. The Buford scale is a system that classifies the wind speed and the effects of a storm. It has 12 levels, from 0 to 12, with 0 being calm and 12 being hurricane. The bulk carrier in China was hit by a typhoon that reached the highest level on the Beaufort scale, 12. This means that the wind was so strong that it could rip off roofs, overturn cars, and uproot trees. The crew tried to steer the ship to safety, but it was too late. The ship capsized and sank, and all 21 crew members were lost at sea. 3. Anthem of the Seas. Have you ever been on a cruise ship? If yes, then you might have enjoyed the luxury and entertainment that it offers. But what if you encounter a storm that threatens to sink your ship? This is what happened to the Anthem of the Seas, a cruise ship operated by Royal Caribbean International in 2016. The Anthem of the Seas is one of the largest and most advanced cruise ships in the world. It can accommodate over 4,000 passengers and has many attractions, such as amusement parks, theaters, and restaurants. It cost about $940 million to build and was launched in 2015. But in February 2016, the ship faced a major challenge during a voyage from New Jersey to Florida. It encountered a powerful storm that produced huge waves up to 30 feet high and strong winds up to 125 miles per hour. The ship was battered and rocked by the waves, and many passengers and crew members were injured or terrified. 4. Clelia 2. How would you feel if you were on a cruise ship that was hit by a giant wave in the middle of the Antarctic? Would you be scared, excited, or amazed? In Argentina, in 2010, Clelia 2 sailed through a stormy Drake Passage. The Clelia 2 was a large and modern cruise ship that weighed over 2,600 tons. It had many amenities and comforts for its passengers and crew. It was on a voyage from New Zealand to Argentina when it had to cross the Drake Passage, one of the most dangerous water routes in the world. The Drake Passage is a narrow strait that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans near the Antarctic. It is known for its strong winds, currents, and waves that can make sailing very difficult and risky. Many ships have been damaged or sunk by the storms in this area. But why is the Drake Passage so stormy? The weather in the Drake Passage is influenced by the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, a powerful ocean current that flows around the continent. This current carries cold and dense water from the Antarctic to the warmer and lighter water of the other oceans. This creates a lot of turbulence and mixing, which affects the air above it. The air becomes colder and denser and forms low-pressure systems that generate strong winds and clouds. These winds and clouds can produce storms and waves that can reach up to 50 feet high. The Clelia II encountered one of these storms in 2010 when a 29-foot waves slammed into the ship. The ship tilted and shook, and water flooded the decks and cabins. The ship lost its control systems and communications and sent out a distress signal. Luckily, another ship, the National Geographic Explorer, was nearby and heard the signal. The Explorer helped the Clelia II with navigation and guidance and escorted it to safety. The Clelia II reached Argentina at reduced speed with no casualties or injuries. 5. Big wave surfing. Do you like surfing? If yes, then you might have heard of Jaws Beach in Hawaii, one of the most famous spots for big wave surfing. But how big are the waves there? And who was that brave to dare to ride them? This is what happened to Mike Parsons, a professional surfer who faced a 62-foot wave in 2008. Jaws Beach, also known as Pe'ahi, is a surfing location on the north shore of Maui, Hawaii. It is named after the movie Jaws because of the huge and powerful waves that break there. The waves can reach up to 70 feet high and are caused by strong winds and swells that travel across the Pacific Ocean. Big wave surfing is a form of extreme sport that involves riding waves that are over 20 feet high. It requires a lot of skill, courage, and equipment, such as jet skis, tow ropes, and inflatable vests. In 2008, Mike Parsons, a veteran big wave surfer, decided to take on the biggest wave he could find at Jaws Beach. He was towed by a jet ski into the wave, which was estimated to be 62 feet high, or about as tall as a 6-story building. 6. Bornholm Dolphin. How would you like to work on an oil platform in the middle of the sea? If you think it's an easy job, think again. You might have to deal with harsh weather, dangerous equipment, and isolation. This is what happened to the workers on the Bornholm Dolphin, an oil platform in the North Sea, in 2015. The Bornholm Dolphin is a type of oil platform that is partly floating and partly fixed to the sea floor. It is designed to drill for oil and gas in deep and rough waters. It has a large deck that looks like a raft, where the workers live and work. It is connected to 4 steel legs that anchor it to the bottom of the sea. However, this design also has its challenges, especially during storms. In January 2015, the Bornholm Dolphin faced a severe storm that produced huge waves up to 50 feet high that hit the platform from all sides. 7. Rodrigo Coxa. Have you ever seen a wave that is taller than a building? If not, then you might be amazed by the feat of Rodrigo Coxa, a Brazilian professional surfer who conquered the biggest wave ever in 2017. Rodrigo Coxa is a surfer who specializes in big wave surfing, a form of extreme sport that involves riding waves that are over 20 feet high. He has been surfing since he was 11 years old and has won several awards and competitions. But in 2017, he achieved his greatest accomplishment when he surfed a wave that was 78 feet high, or about as tall as a 5-story building. He did this at Nazar, a surfing spot on the coast of Portugal, where the waves are shaped by a submarine canyon that amplifies their size and power. He used a special board that was designed for big wave surfing, with a longer and thicker shape and a leash that attached it to his ankle. He also wore a helmet and a flotation device to protect him from injuries and drowning. He was towed by a jet ski into the wave, which gave him enough speed and momentum to ride it. He had to balance and steer his board while avoiding the breaking crest and the white water. He successfully rode the wave for a few seconds before jumping off and diving into the water. He was then picked up by another jet ski and celebrated his achievement. He was also awarded the Quicksilver XL Biggest Wave Award by the World Surf League in 2018 for the largest wave ever taken by a person. He broke the previous record of 73 feet set by Garrett McNamara in 2011, also at Nazar. Also 8. Ship in North Sea. In 2017, this ship was a tourist liner that was sailing in the North Sea, a part of the Atlantic Ocean that lies between Europe and Scandinavia. The North Sea is known for its cold and rough weather and its frequent storms and waves. It is not a place for the faint-hearted or for the lovers of the ocean. But do you know what factors influence the weather in the North Sea? The weather in the North Sea is influenced by several factors, such as the temperature, the pressure, the wind, and the currents. The temperature varies depending on the season and the latitude, with the northern parts being colder than the southern parts. The pressure changes due to the movement of air masses, with low-pressure systems bringing clouds and rain, and high-pressure systems bringing clear and dry weather. The wind blows from different directions, depending on the pressure and the Coriolis force, which is an effect of the Earth's rotation. The currents flow in different patterns, depending on the density and the salinity of the water and the shape of the seafloor. These factors interact and create complex and unpredictable weather conditions, which can produce storms and waves that can reach up to 100 feet high or about as tall as a 10-story building. These waves can be very dangerous and destructive, especially for smaller and weaker ships. 9. Kitty Hawk. Next, what happened to the crew of the USS Kitty Hawk is really unbelievable. An aircraft carrier is a type of ship that can carry and launch airplanes and helicopters. It is like a floating airport on the sea. The USS Kitty Hawk was one of the largest and oldest aircraft carriers in the world. It was over 1,000 feet long and could carry more than 80 aircraft. One day in 2008, the USS Kitty Hawk was sailing from Hawaii to Japan. It had to cross the Pacific Ocean, the largest and deepest ocean on Earth. The Pacific Ocean is also known for its storms and typhoons, which are very strong winds that can cause huge waves. The USS Kitty Hawk encountered a typhoon on its way. A typhoon is a type of storm that forms over warm water and can have winds of over 100 miles per hour. The typhoon created waves that were over 30 feet high. That is taller than a 3-story building. 10. Illenia in Germany. Have you ever been on a ferry ride? It can be a fun and relaxing way to travel across water, but sometimes it can also be very dangerous. This is what happened to some passengers on a resort ferry in Germany in 2021. A resort ferry is a type of ship that offers entertainment and leisure facilities for its guests. It can have restaurants, bars, pools, spas, and other amenities. The resort ferry in the video was sailing along a river in Germany, near the city of Hamburg. The passengers were enjoying their time in the restaurant salon, a large room with tables and chairs. But then, something unexpected happened. A huge wave crashed into the window of the salon, shattering the glass and flooding the room. The water knocked over the furniture and the people, creating a scene of chaos and panic. The passengers screamed and ran for safety, while the crew tried to calm them down. 11. Garrett McNamara. In 2013, Garrett McNamara, an American surfer, rode a wave that was 98 feet high, breaking his own world record. A wave is a movement of water that is caused by wind, gravity, or other forces. Some waves are small and gentle, while others are big and powerful. Surfers are people who use boards to glide on the surface of the waves. Surfing is a sport that requires skill, balance, and courage. Garrett McNamara is one of the most famous and daring surfers in the world. He has been surfing since he was 11 years old and has traveled to many places to find the biggest and most challenging waves. In 2011, he set a world record by surfing a wave that was 78 feet high in Nazar, Portugal. Nazar is a town on the Atlantic coast of Portugal that is known for its huge waves. The waves are formed by a deep underwater canyon that amplifies the ocean's swell. The waves can reach heights of over 100 feet, making them very dangerous and attractive for surfers. In 2013, Garrett McNamara returned to Nazar to try to break his own record. He was towed by a jet ski to a spot where a massive wave was forming. He let go of the rope and started to surf on the wave, which was estimated to be 98 feet high. He managed to stay on his board and ride the wave until it broke. He was cheered by the spectators and his team, who captured the video of his feat. 12. Wahoo test. What would happen if a nuclear bomb exploded underwater? Would it create a huge splash, a fireball, or something else? Well, in 1958, the United States government wanted to find out when they conducted a test called Wahoo. A nuclear bomb is a device that releases a lot of energy by splitting atoms. It can cause a lot of damage and radiation. The first nuclear bombs were used in World War II, when the United States dropped them on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Since then, many countries have developed their own nuclear weapons. In 1958, during the Cold War, the United States was testing different types of nuclear bombs in the Pacific Ocean near the Marshall Islands. The Cold War was a period of tension and rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, two superpowers that had different political and economic systems. They never fought directly, but they competed in many areas such as science, technology, and military. One of the tests was called Wahoo. It involved a nuclear bomb that weighed about 1,000 pounds and had a power of 9 kilotons. That means it was equivalent to exploding 9,000 tons of TNT, a type of explosive. For comparison, the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima had a power of 15 kilotons. The Wahoo bomb was dropped from a plane and detonated at a depth of 492 feet below the surface of the water. The explosion created a huge dome of water vapor and spray that rose up to 820 feet high and 3,610 feet wide. It looked like a giant mushroom cloud, but made of water instead of smoke. The shockwave from the blast also traveled through the water and the air, shaking the nearby ships and planes. 13. Waves in wedding. What would you do if your wedding was ruined by a giant wave? Would you cry, laugh, or take it as a sign? This is what happened to a couple who wanted to have a beach wedding in Hawaii in 2022. They did not expect the ocean to crash their party. A beach wedding is a type of wedding that takes place on the sand, near the water. Many people choose to have a beach wedding because they like the scenery, the weather, and the atmosphere. A beach wedding can be very romantic and beautiful, but a beach wedding can also be very risky. The ocean is unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. It can change from calm to stormy in a matter of minutes. It can also create huge waves that can reach the shore and cause damage. This is what happened to the couple in the video. They had planned their wedding at the Hulihes Palace in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. The palace is a historic building that was once the residence of Hawaiian royalty. It is now a museum and a popular venue for weddings and events. The couple and their guests were enjoying their wedding ceremony and reception on the lawn of the palace, which overlooks the ocean. They had decorated the place with flowers, tables, chairs, and a cake. Everything looked perfect. But then something unexpected happened. A massive wave, caused by Tropical Storm Darby, came crashing into the palace. The wave was so powerful that it broke the windows and flooded the lawn. It swept away everything in its path, including the wedding decorations, the food, and the guests. The guests ran for their lives, trying to avoid the water and the debris. Some of them screamed, some of them laughed, and some of them filmed the scene with their phones. They were shocked and scared, but also amazed and amused. 14. Cape Town. In 2019, something crazy happened to the people of Cape Town in South Africa. They faced a natural disaster that was caused by extreme weather. A wave is a movement of water that is caused by wind, gravity, or other forces. Some waves are small and gentle, while others are big and powerful. Waves can also be dangerous and destructive, especially when they hit the land and cause flooding. In 2019, Cape Town was hit by a series of strong waves that swept across the coast. The waves were caused by a storm that brought strong winds and a cold front to the region. The storm was part of a weather phenomenon called a cut-off low, which is a low-pressure system that is cut off from the main jet stream. A cut-off low can cause heavy rain, snow, hail, and thunderstorms. And there you have it. These are the top moments when the tsunami was captured on camera. But which one of these is most horrifying according to you? Let us know in the comments section below.